Hello everyone, Darko2012 here, Global Government News, and I'm just posting a video. There's an article here I'm not going to read, but I just wanted to say that this video is relevant as far as the New World Order goes and global government because of the false flag terrorism issue, which will probably be a prominent issue throughout 2010, and I keep repeating that in my videos, but it's important that I do that because when you get things like this, then it kind of plays into it, and it kind of makes sense, and you can put the pieces together. Um, but you can see what, a false flag terrorism attack is when a government flies the flag of another nation or another group, right? And then they attack themselves with that wrapped in, a foreign flag. So that everybody gets focused on some some outside enemy, some invisible enemy. So while something is going on, you can do it for two reasons. You can either use it for to bypass support, the public support for invading or occupying an area, a country, or you can use it as a diversion where you can, like I said, wrap the flag around yourself and your country, or a foreign flag around yourself, and allow yourself to be attacked, and then you can divert people's attention to an invisible enemy somewhere far away, while the solution to that problem will be to take away your freedoms at home. So those are the two biggest reasons for false flag terrorism. And just to go to this video here, this guy says, that the underwear bomber did us a favor. And see, he thinks that this is the 50s or the 60s. This isn't, My generation are awake and they're not dumb, and they understand how to connect the dots. And so when they say these stupid little comments, I just hope that they understand that they're not talking to zombies out here. That we do get what the hell it is that he's saying. So let's go around and check out what he has to say.
Kean, former Republican governor of New Jersey and the former chairman of the 9/11 Commission. Thank you so much, Governor Kean, for being with us this morning. You heard what John Brennan had to say when pressed on the Christmas bomber plot. What's your general reaction to his responses?
Well, they're a bit defensive, and I guess that's probably understandable given all the circumstances. But, this guy, in some respects, looking at it in retrospective, probably did us a favor. I mean, look, we had an administration which was not focused as it should be on terrorism, and that's understandable. They were focused on health care and on global warming and the economy. That's very understandable. Secondly, we weren't really focused on Yemen and the terrible things that are happening there. Now we are, and that's a good thing. And thirdly, there were holes, obviously, and the system wasn't working well. We found out it wasn't working well. The president understands it's not working well, and now we're focused on fixing it. So all over, thanks God, it wasn't any serious injury, but the guy probably did us a favor now, because now we're going to be a little more alert.
Well, you heard what Mr. Brennan said. He said this was human failure. This was not a failure of people fighting each other on turf. But when I asked him the question that you've been asking this week, which is about why not pay attention to AbdulMutallab's father, a wealthy Nigerian banker who walks into the embassy and is worried, he seemed to say that wasn't a direct clue.
Well, that alone, given who that father was, his prestige in the community, his connections with the United States Embassy, that alone should have been enough. Because think for a moment, if you're a father, or a mother for that matter, what it takes to go in there to a foreign embassy and actually turn in your child. I mean, this was an act of tremendous courage by this man.
But Brennan's response was he didn't say his son was a terrorist.
Well, that's not good enough. That's not a good enough response, because that to my mind should have put everybody on alert. That should have gone right up. And again, he said there were pieces of information. He's absolutely right. But he's wrong when he says this wasn't like 9/11, because what we pointed out in the report again and again is that there were a lot of pieces of information. If they'd been put together, then we might have deterred that plot. This is the same thing. A lot of pieces of information, if they had been shared by the intelligence agencies the way they should be, and where the system the Congress set up is designed to compel, then this guy would never have gotten on that plane.
We've been spending a lot of time this week rereading the 9/11 report. We also, which I happen to have here, and we've also been rereading that final report card when the 9/11 Commission did an update on where we were on security issues. And this was in December 2005. Let me show this to you a little bit. Airline passenger pre-screening. You gave them an F. Airline passenger explosive screening. You gave them a C. Government-wide information sharing, a D. Have the grades improved?
I think they may have improved some, but this
Still an F in
showed us
airline,
not enough.
Still an F in airline passenger screening,
No,
do you think?
No, I'd give them a little higher grade now, but still not good enough. I mean, we've got to reach an A in that level. I mean, we cannot allow our people to get on a plane and not feel safe. So, yeah, it's still not good enough. But now, thank goodness, perhaps due to this incident, we'll get to where we should be.
So yeah, after watching him, he makes a good point, which is intelligence sharing. But that is the problem. Is the intelligence sharing, right? They're not when it comes to actually preventing like real terrorism. There isn't cohesion. There isn't. They're not doing a good enough job as far as, like he said, different intelligence agencies communicating with each other. But bringing on more, treating people more, like terrorists, like treating almost everybody like terrorists when they go through the airport, and bringing on these full body scanners isn't going to help. Like this woman said, she said, well, that doesn't help as far as the human error, because it was human error that caused it, and so that's the biggest deal here. He makes good points and he's convincing, but that is what false flag terrorism is all about, because it's carried out by intelligence agencies, and it's all about compartmentalization, so that certain people and certain agencies do not know a certain detail. There's one little thing that they don't know, and that's what allows it to happen. And it's a complicated subject as far as false flag terrorism goes, and why an attack happened and why it didn't. I'm not saying that real terrorists don't exist. They surely do. And the real ones somewhat have legitimate reasons to be pissed off at empires that want a nation build, right, and occupy their country, and pretty much force democracy on them. And they give them basically no other choice but to fight back. So I know that there's real terrorists out there, everybody. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that that stuff like this does happen as far as intelligence agencies being involved and allowing attacks to happen so that they can bring on more security measures. Thanks.